The room was quiet in a way that felt almost heavy, as if even the air itself understood the weight of what was about to happen. The screen flickered to life, casting a pale glow across the face of a woman who had already cried too many tears in private. Yu Menglong's mother sat still, her hands folded tightly in her lap, eyes fixed on the video that had traveled across phones, whispers, and headlines before finally reaching her. This was not just another clip circulating online. This was her son, her child. And in those few minutes of footage, a lifetime of memories, fears, and unanswered questions came rushing back all at once. As the video played, her expression shifted slowly, almost imperceptibly at first. There was the faintest spark of recognition, the kind only a mother could have, the look that says she knows every angle of that face, every pause in that voice. Then came the trembling of her lips, the tightening around her eyes, and finally the tears she could no longer hold back. They rolled down quietly, without drama, yet somehow spoke louder than any scream ever could. To the outside world, Yu Menglong was a name wrapped in rumors, theories, and endless speculation. To her, he was still the boy who once ran home with scraped knees, the young man who promised he would be fine no matter how hard things became. The video itself was haunting not because of what it showed, but because of what it suggested. His eyes carried a tiredness that felt deeper than exhaustion, a look that hinted at battles fought far away from the spotlight. His voice, steady yet subdued, seemed to carry words he never fully said. As his mother watched, every pause felt intentional, every breath heavy with meaning. It was as if he was speaking directly to her across time and distance, telling her everything and nothing all at once. She leaned forward slightly, as if getting closer to the screen could somehow bring him closer to her heart. For years, fans have dissected every appearance, every public moment, searching for clues about Yu Menglong's life behind closed doors. But no amount of analysis could compare to what his mother saw in that video. She noticed the subtle things others missed, the way his shoulders tensed, the familiar tilt of his head when he was trying to hide his emotions, the brief flicker of vulnerability that passed across his face before he composed himself again. These were not mysteries to her. They were signs she had known since he was a child, signals she had learned to read long before cameras ever followed him. As the minutes passed, her tears came more freely. They were not just tears of sadness, but of love, regret, pride, and fear all tangled together. Every mother carries a silent list of questions she asks herself in moments like this. Did I do enough? Did I protect him the way I should have? Could I have seen this coming? Watching the video forced her to confront those questions without answers, and the pain of that uncertainty was written clearly across her face. What made the moment even more powerful was its simplicity. There was no dramatic music in the room, no audience applauding or reacting. Just a mother, a screen, and the unbreakable bond between them. In that quiet space, the public image of Yu Menglong dissolved completely. He was no longer an actor, a trending topic, or a subject of online debates. He was simply her son, and she was simply his mother, witnessing a part of his life she may never fully understand, but will always carry with her. Those who later learned about this moment described it as heartbreaking, yet deeply human. It reminded people that behind every viral story is a family living through the consequences in silence. While fans argue and speculate, a mother watches, remembers, and grieves in her own way. The tears she shed were not meant for the public eye, yet they somehow captured the truth more clearly than any statement ever could. They told a story of love that endures even when understanding feels impossible. As the video came to an end, she did not rush to wipe her face. She sat there, letting the final image linger in her mind. The room felt even quieter now, as if the world itself was holding its breath. She reached out and touched the dark screen gently, a small gesture filled with meaning. It was the closest she could get to him in that moment, a silent promise that no matter what the world believed or said, her love remained unchanged. In the days that followed, those close to her noticed a shift. She spoke less, but when she did, there was a new weight to her words. The video had not given her clarity, but it had given her something else, confirmation of what she had always felt in her heart. That her son was carrying more than he ever showed. That his silence was not emptiness, but survival. And that the distance between who he was in public and who he was in private was far greater than anyone imagined. For many, this story became another chapter in the ongoing saga surrounding Yu Menglong. For his mother, it became a moment etched permanently into her memory. She would replay it in her mind at night, hearing his voice, seeing his eyes, wondering what he needed that he never asked for. Mothers are often said to be strong, but strength does not mean the absence of pain. It means living with it, loving through it, and continuing on even when your heart feels unbearably heavy. What makes this moment resonate so deeply is not fame or mystery, but vulnerability. In a world obsessed with appearances, a mother's tears cut through everything else. They remind us that no matter how high someone rises or how far they fall, they are always someone's child. And somewhere often far from the noise, there is a parent watching, hoping, and loving in silence. As conversations continue online and new theories emerge, that quiet room and those silent tears remain untouched by speculation. They exist in a space beyond rumors, beyond headlines, beyond the reach of public opinion. It is a space defined by memory, love, and an unspoken understanding that words could never fully capture. In the end, her tears said what she never needed to explain. They spoke of nights spent waiting, of prayers whispered when no one was listening, of a love that did not need answers to exist. Watching that video did not give her peace, but gave her connection. And sometimes for a mother, that is enough to endure everything else the world may bring. Long after the video ended and the screen faded to black, Yu Menglong's mother remained seated, unmoving, as though standing up might shatter whatever fragile balance she had left. The silence that followed was louder than the video itself. In that silence, her thoughts returned not to the rumors or headlines, but to the quiet moments only a mother remembers, the way he used to lower his voice when he was hurting, the way he smiled just enough to convince others he was fine. That video reopened emotions she had carefully folded away for years. It was not shock she felt, but recognition. A deep, aching recognition that her son had been carrying burdens far heavier than he ever allowed her to see. Every controlled expression on his face felt like a decision he had made long ago, to endure rather than explain, to protect rather than expose. As the days passed, fragments of the video continued to surface in her mind without warning. Sometimes it was the look in his eyes, other times the stillness in his posture. Ordinary moments became triggers. A passing voice, a familiar silhouette, even a quiet afternoon would suddenly remind her of how far away he felt, despite being so vividly present on that screen. Those around her tried to reassure her, telling her not to read too much into what people were saying online. But for her, the truth was not found in comments or theories. It lived in instinct. A mother does not need proof to sense her child's pain. She felt it the same way she always had, deep and unspoken, like a current running beneath calm water. There was pride mixed with sorrow, pride that he had not broken publicly, pride that he carried himself with restraint even when the world seemed eager to tear him apart. And sorrow, too, for every moment he may have spent alone with thoughts he never shared. The video became less about what he showed and more about what he chose to hide. At night, she found herself whispering his name, not as a cry for answers, but as an anchor. Saying it reminded her that no matter how distant he seemed, the bond between them had not weakened. Fame, controversy, and silence could not erase years of love built long before cameras ever followed him. While online discussions continued to grow louder and more aggressive, her world remained quietly focused on one truth: her son was still her son. No narrative could change that. No speculation could define him in her eyes. The video did not give her closure. Instead, it gave her resolve. Resolve to believe in him when others doubted. Resolve to wait without demanding explanations. Resolve to love without conditions. And so, beyond the noise and judgment, a mother continues to watch from a distance, carrying both worry and hope in equal measure. Her tears were never a sign of weakness. They were proof of a love strong enough to endure uncertainty, silence, and time itself.